Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Boy, we got to reshoot some of that, Regan Mendoza. I've lost so much weight since then, my gosh. But I really do appreciate how good you make me look at all times. Welcome to Freed on Business. We have got an absolutely amazing show today. Our first part of the show, we're going to talk to one of my authors here. We've got Ben Lapidus on. I want to thank Lisa Paley and the Miami Book Fair. That's right. The book fair is going to be outside again, so make sure you get there. We've got some tickets. Email me, direct message me if you want to get some tickets to the book fair. Ben's going to be talking here. We're going to talk to Ben about the influence of the international sound of Latin music on the New York music. We're going to talk about lots of Cuban people that are influencers, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, all kinds of people. And then the second half of the show, we're going to have Tim Becker on, and we're going to talk with Tim about why UF has become the number one university real estate program, and we're going to have one of the students on too. It's going to be tremendous, so make sure you stick with us for all kinds of good energy. Got my UF real estate shirt on. I got the thing in the back there for Read on Business. Got the book. I got Mr. Mendoza. Let's go, Mr. Mendoza. Whoops, you caught me. Hey, if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. Down in the Keys, they sell all their great cars. And for Tim up in Gainesville, well, they sell Audis up there. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they all come with a Warren Henry advantage. That's this long list of things that you can get when you get your car. Whoops. It includes key replacement. When you lose your key, it costs like $100. They'll replace it for you free. Want a great price for your used car? They'll give it to you. They'll give you the best price guarantee on your buy also. And if you don't like your car, you can return it. Get 3 days to do that. No one ever returns their cars. They all love them. So join me, my mom, beautiful wife Vivian, and lots of my friends, lots of Gators. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best service, always the best price, always Warren Henry.
It's time to stop the hate and spread some love. You are beautiful, you're smart, you are awesome, and you never have to change for anybody. You have the voice and you have the power. We are so much stronger when we come together. It's your choice, so choose to be inspired. Choose to be accepting, be strong, be brave, be awesome, be daring, be kind. Choose kindness.
I would love, we've been playing that for years. I would love to get her like live on the show doing that just once. It's such a great message. I'll give you another great message. That message is to call me, Jim Freed. Why would you do that? Well, I help lots of people with their real estate operating companies, their family office. You need real estate capital. You need a real estate deal. You need a real estate partner. I've got access. Let me open up my database. It's all in here. Everything you need is right there. Open up my database, call it. Usually I can get it done with one phone call. So reach out to me, call me. Why? Because when you call me, it's always, that's right, all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
I am very excited. I'm joined by Ben Lapidus. I want to thank Lisa Paley and the Miami Book Fair for sending us Ben. They give us great guests all the time. We got James Grapondo last week. This week, International Sound of Latin Music, New York, and It's going to be great. Welcome to the show, Ben Lapidus.
Hey, Jim, thanks for having me.
Oh, I love the way that Mr. Mendoza does that slide in. That's really great. So, Ben, first, let's just talk in general. You're a musician. Tell me how you got to start in music and why you're interested in Latin music.
Sure, it all, I guess, can be chalked up to my family. My grandmother was a musician. She was a piano player, singer. She played accordion. She even sang at Carnegie Hall when she was a kid, made some old acetates of opera and things like that. My father was a professional musician, played in New York City in the Catskills, and supposedly my great-grandfather, but I don't know much about his career. And my parents started me off when I was about 6 years old with the piano. But like most kids who are 6 years old, it's tough to get motivated to practice, and I would hide under my bed when it came time for lessons and things like that. But eventually, I got really into music. I switched around a few different instruments. I went to the guitar and the bass and the trumpet through a band in grade school. And then I got really serious about it when I was about 12 years old. And from that point on, the rest is kind of history. I got serious about music, and then I befriended a number of older musicians, many of whom I speak about in this book, but they kind of showed me what it really meant to be a professional musician and play with all the greats, what you had to do, and the amount of discipline. So that's sort of what set me on my path.
Well, I'm married to a woman that's Cuban, we call him down here. So I'm all about that. We love Celia Cruz, Azúcar, and of course, my favorite, I always wanted to introduce him on the show, Tito Puente. So tell me a little bit, you talk about Tito Puente in the book. What about Tito Puente?
Well, one of the great things about Tito Puente is, he made it all look so easy. He was this entertainer. He would throw the sticks around his head. The band always sounded fantastic. But what a lot of people don't realize about him is he also had a serious amount of schooling. He went to Juilliard for a couple of years. He had been writing arrangements when he was in the Navy during World War II. He would write arrangements and practice jazz saxophone and send them back to New York, where they would get recorded by Machito and people like that. So I think that's another theme that runs through the book, is that all these great musicians and entertainers that we love so much that played this music had a lot of training, whether it was in a formal university or conservatory setting, or private lessons, or anything like that. But it wasn't just kind of like we say up here, University of the corner of Lexington Avenue. It wasn't all street. The street definitely informed the sound of the music and the vibe of the music, but there was a serious amount of study, and that was in kids from grade school all the way up through college and beyond.
Now, I think that most of America became acquainted with this genre, I gotta just say it, on the Lucille Ball show. So Ricky Ricardo must have been somebody that got all slammed together as an example. But who in real life would you consider to be a band leader and an aficionado and a person that stirs the drink the way that they demonstrated and projected that Ricky Ricardo did?
Well, I think, it's really fascinating because there were a lot of people who worked on that show who had a lot of experience with music. You had Marco Rizzo, who was from Cuba, from Santiago de Cuba. You had Titi Amadeo, who was here, who wrote songs for the show, and his son is a great composer who writes songs for everybody these days, who still has a music store in the Bronx. I think it was based on a few people, but I think also Desi Arnaz had a real, he was following sort of the people who had come before him who did what he did. I think the model for him was someone like Miguelito Valdez. And, Desi was a guy who was, I think, more presentable on TV for a lot of people and a lot of audiences in that time. So, but in terms of a band leader, you could say anybody, Tito Rodriguez, Tito Puente, Machito, any of those bands were on everybody's radar in terms of dancing around the time that, Ricky and Lucy were on everybody's screens. People were going to clubs like at the Palladium or other nightclubs, or going to the Catskills, or down in Miami too. A lot of these bands were going to Miami We're going to Chicago. We're heading out to California. So I think there were a lot of band leaders who were doing what he was doing. They just didn't have the TV show.
Now, who's Barry Rogers and why do I care?
Barry Rogers is an amazing guy. He played the trombone. He grew up in the Bronx. He's an American Jew, and he's really the godfather of the Latin sound of trombone. He got his start playing jazz, but when he started to play Latin music, he really was the sound to be emulated, and he forged that sound with Eddie Palmieri, who had other guys in the band who played a great trombone as well, like Jose Rodriguez and Joe Orange and Mark Weinstein. But Barry really kind of developed this very aggressive, very instantly identifiable trombone sound. He would come up with different riffs, and he is the architect of the modern sound of the trombone in Latin music. There really wasn't anybody before him.
Wow, that's really amazing. Now, I'm not a music aficionado. I did take music appreciation for the Easy A. Hey, didn't we all? So, but what's the difference between jazz and salsa? And do they come together in New York to form something new, or do they really stay on parallel tracks?
They do both. They stay on parallel tracks and they come together. So there are people who stick in one lane, and then there are people who come together and do both. And basically, when we talk about jazz, we're talking about primarily music from African American tradition that incorporates blues and swing and riff based improvisation and all of the things that are incumbent with that. And when we talk about salsa or Latin music, we're talking about Cuban music, we're talking about Puerto Rican music, Dominican music that is oriented towards people dancing. Jazz was originally dance music, but at a certain point, post 1940s, 50s, you don't really find people dancing much to jazz. There's a number of reasons behind that, but we don't have to get into that right now. There was a record strike, and bebop musicians started to make music that was for them. We can talk more about that another time. But with salsa and Latin music, it was oriented strictly towards dancers. And I think as much as people would advance the music and incorporate aspects of jazz to it, they really had to maintain that line and make it interesting and exciting for the dancer. It couldn't be too out there. If the dancer didn't like it, forget it. So that's really what happened.
Now, you talk about the time frame 1940 to 1990, and right in the middle of that, there was a pivotal event in Cuba that occurred. What
Sure.
was the impact of the revolution in Cuba on music? And then after the break, I want to come back and talk about how that all changed afterwards.
Yeah, well, the impact was pretty great. I mean, there was a huge influence, if you will, of Cuban music in the United States up to that point. But post 1959, there was just a huge influx of musicians and Cubans, as we all know, coming in large numbers, who would come again in large numbers after that in the 60s and the 80s. But 1959 brought a lot of people to the United States permanently, people like Jose Fajardo. Post 1959, you had Celia Cruz and Sonora Matancera. And here in New Jersey, on Bergen Line Avenue, you eventually had a whole strip of clubs where a lot of people would be performing all the time. Greats like Orlando Contreras and the Cano sisters and so forth. So it was a strip of clubs that was supported by this Cuban community and Cuban musicians. So
yeah, I grew up in New Jersey, Bergen County. And so, a lot of people down here don't realize there's an enormous Cuban community up in New Jersey. Would it be okay if we took a quick break and then just came right back, Ben?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Mr. Mendoza, rock the house. Well, I'm Jim Frieden. I'm taking notes. This is some great stuff we're doing here. But when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne. Up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. I can't wait to go up there. I really want to get one of those Audi sports cars. Down in the Keys, Well, down in the Keys, they sell all their great cars. And what do they all have in common? At each location, they all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. That's this whole long list. I finally found the list. Whole long list of services that they give you. It includes complimentary service loaner, dynamic wheel protection if you scrape your wheels, and who hasn't scraped their wheels parking? They'll help you polish them up. Key replacement, you lose your keys. Costs like $100 to replace one of those keys. They'll help you. They'll do it for free. They'll give you the best value guarantee. That's right. They'll pay the difference if you find a better offer on your car, and the 72-hour exchange. That's right. They'll give you 3 days to return your car. And guess what? No one returns their car because they love them. They're all great cars. Join me, my mom, beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price. Always the best service. Always Warren Henry.
Hey, this is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
Rebecca and her team do a great job for me and a lot of my clients. I'm, in fact, working with her right now on a new brand that I may just be bringing out next year. But for now, reach out to me. I can get great capital, bridge loans, hard money loans, close before year end. You need it, I got it. Big capital, little capital, small cap, big cap. You need an institutional JV partner? Got that. Need an institutional lender? Got that. Need a hard money lender or want a joint venture with a family? Got that too. So reach out to me, DM me, email me, call me, doesn't matter. However you get a hold of me, when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
We're having a great discussion with Ben Lapidus. Ben is the author of New York and the International Sound of Latin Music. I want to thank Lisa Paley and the Miami Book Fair for bringing Ben. And if you want to go to the book fair, call me or DM me or email me. I've got a whole bunch of free tickets that I can give you to some of these talks. And remember, it'll be a street fair this weekend, so go out there and have a good time. Welcome back, Ben.
Hey, good to be back.
Now, we were talking a little bit about the impact of the revolution in Cuba on Latin music in New York at the time. And just for the record, my mom and dad were up there going to all the clubs and dancing, and then they had me. So we know what Cuban music did for them. Now, Cuba closed its borders. A lot of things happened, and then Cuba opened its borders again, threw a bunch of people at the United States through the Mariel boat lift. What was the impact of the Mariel boat lift on New York and the Latin sound?
It was a really interesting and impactful impact in the sense that you had another huge quantity of musicians with a lot of different skills and playing the latest music in Cuba coming to New York City, coming to Miami also, and sharing their skills, teaching a lot of people the latest things, information, ritual music, popular music, dance, folkloric dances, and taking on students who were not Cuban. You had a lot of those people were teaching Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and African Americans and Jews and Italians. So it was really a new sort of dynamic situation. I think prior to their arrival, things were a little bit more secretive and a little bit more, insider. And then once those folks came in 1980, it really kind of spread the gospel, if you will, of the music.
Now, you talk about the Catskills. I'll refer to my parents again. They met in 1960. You got it, at the Concord in the Catskills. So tell me a little bit about the people that were playing up there and how they were influenced and blended with, musicians like your family, the Jewish musicians up in the Catskills. How did that all come together, and how did that influence the sound?
Well, early on, from at least the 1930s, there are advertisements of Jewish organizations of all stripes, all political, all men's and women's organizations, youth organizations, sponsoring Latin dance competitions and performances all throughout the five boroughs, as well as New Jersey, as well as Connecticut. And eventually, I guess, as more and more people were establishing the Catskills as the place to go for your weekend and summer retreat, it was kind of a no-brainer to start having these same bands performing in the Catskills. And then if you look at the newspaper ads through the years, the ads in the city, in New York City newspapers like the New York Post for the dances would say, come back and hang out with your friends from Sheldrake, or come back and hang out with your friends from the Concord or Browns that you dance with in the summer. We're going to do a dance here. So who was playing there? All these great bands, Machito, Emilio Reales, Tito Puente, you name it. And it went through, the 50s and 60s all the way up until sort of the Catskill scene kind of started to wane. But it was really a place, every place in the Catskills had a dance team, dance instructors, so the band could go to hang out by the pool all day and relax, and at night they would perform and people would dance, and they would hop from hotel to hotel and hang out with other musicians and jam. So it was a satellite scene, but it was really deeply connected to what was happening in New York. And a lot of those bands too were also moving between Miami and even going back to the Caribbean. Like they would set up shop in the winter. They would go maybe to Puerto Rico or Miami, but then all summer long they would go to Pennsylvania or they would go to the Catskills. So it was a really vibrant scene.
Now, technology evolved during this period. We got television, radio got FM, stereo. So what was the impact of technology on the sound?
The technology was also a big impact. You had all kinds of interesting stuff that was happening. New instruments were being made. The electric upright bass that was made out of a kind of fiberglass material became really popular. Drums, congas, and timbales would be mass produced. There were a lot of instrument builders who made different string instruments, Cuban and Puerto Rican string instruments in New York City. And then you had all kinds of innovations in recording technology. Larry Harlow started to make records in quad. I don't know if you remember that stereo format, and the quadraphonic. And
I think all that was you put 4 speakers up in your house instead of 2.
Yeah, and the way they mixed it, he sat in a chair and spun around in a chair until it sounded kind of halfway decent. Recording stuff on metal tape, Dolby sound. As those things came in, electric keyboards instead of going out with a piano. It was very hard to bring a piano around. So, having electric keyboards and then musicians were kind of beta testers for all these people making instruments and recording. So it sort of went hand in hand, one with the other. The people who were building instruments could say, what do you think of this? And the people playing the instruments would say, well, you should do X, Y, and Z. And then, they would, help each other out. And everybody benefited from this. The fans of the music, it just made it that much better. And getting back to your parents at the Concord, there are songs, all of these bands, Machito, Tito Puente, Tito Rodriguez, they all recorded songs about the hotels. So, there's a mambo for the Concord, there's Grossinger's mambo, you name it.
I was going to ask you that next, is if somebody wanted to get familiar with the period, what would be some good music that they could look up on YouTube, maybe give some titles, give some artists so that people could delve a little deeper, get the book and then follow the book? I know you've got tons and tons of, I've never seen a book with so many notes.
Yeah, well, I hope you didn't get a headache from that. Or
I have
conversely,
glasses.
maybe conversely, it helped you go to sleep at night. I think there's so many great artists to go and check out. If you really want to follow this time period, you could look at anything from Tito Puente, a Greatest Hits by Tito Puente, our box set, Tito Rodriguez, Machito, Celia Cruz, another great example. Larry Harlow would be really great. Eddie Palmieri would be great. Tipica 73. The list goes on and on. Those would be a great place to start. Any of those?
I'm telling you, I'm going to look up that Concord Mamba and send it to my mom.
Okay.
Well, she loves it. She'd be listening now, but she does her Yiddish class at noon on Wednesdays. So what am I going to do? She'll watch later though. She does. Half of these questions are for her. She came up with half these questions.
There were some great Yiddish mambos too. A number of artists like Mickey Katz and other people. They wrote these really comical songs, like "It's a Scream" when Levine, plays with his maracas. A lot of double entendres, things like that. And those were novelty hits. And then you had people like Joe Cuba actually recorded a Latin version of Fiddler on the Roof, and that sold pretty well.
No way.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that kind of cross cultural movement, and it's fun to look at throughout history. Some of it's intensely funny, and some of it's musically sublime. Really good stuff.
Listen, I married my wife in the Cuban Hebrew congregation. A lot of people don't really realize that there's a very strong relationship between the Cubans and the Jews. That goes way, way back. A very shared history between both, being subjected to what they've been subjected to. We don't do that on the show. We don't talk politics, but that one we can talk about a little. Everybody knows exactly what I mean. So let's talk for just a couple of minutes. You're going to be at the book fair. Tell me a little bit about your appearance at the book fair.
Well, my appearance at the book fair was actually virtual, so it's now been recorded. You can go on the website and you can watch it. It's a 42-minute program with multimedia and visual audio stuff. So kind of all the stuff we've been talking about. I have some examples so people can check it out, and you can check it out any time of day or night. And the interview was conducted by Felix Contreras from NPR.
Well, I must say I'm no Felix Contreras, but I am Jim Freed. And I will tell you right now that my mother, my mother-in-law, my wife, we're going to all drill down on this. If you could send me some links, I would abuse them. But the one thing I want to remind everybody is you got to check out this book. It's really cool. It talks about a lot of interesting things. He wasn't kidding. You need a microscope to see all the notes and the references and stuff like that. It's really a tremendous resource for somebody who wants to learn more about the culture of America and our Caribbean neighbors. I really want to thank Ben Lapidus. Ben, God bless you. Your parents did a good job. Your grandfather would be really proud.
Thanks, Jim. It's a real honor to be here, and I will send you a ton of stuff.
I'm very much looking forward to it. It'll help me get closer with my wife and my in-laws. And I want to thank Lisa Paley and the Miami Book Fair again for bringing us another home run hitter on the literary scene. Thanks so much, Ben Lapidus, author and musician.
Thanks, Jim. Be well.
My pleasure. Take care, Ben. See you soon. All right. Now I love that video. It's unfortunate that some of those murals have been torn down with the buildings that they were painted on, but that's just the way that it goes. Part of that art, the best part of it maybe, is the fact that it's always transitional and always evolving, just like our show. You know who else is always evolving? My friends at Warren Henry, led by thought leader Eric Day and his partner in crime, Larry Zinn. Those guys really know what's happening, along with the guidance of Warren. Oh my gosh, what a bunch of automotive thought leaders. I really love those guys. Saw them up at Supercar Saturday this week. You want to have a great time, go to Supercar Saturday. It's a wonderful family event. Second Saturday of every month. Follow me. I'm always up there. Make sure you go. And something else you should do, Oh, Ben, mwah, I love that guy. Remember, if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at their store at 151st and Biscayne. Down in the Keys, they sell other great name brands, and up in Gainesville, they sell Audis. What do all those cars have in common? They're all great cars, and they all come with the Warren Henry advantage. That's a whole list of services that you get. They'll replace your keys if you lose them. They'll polish up your wheels if you scratch them. And you can take 3 days to return your car. That's right. They get the 72-hour exchange. Nobody does that. They love their cars. Join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian, lots and lots of my friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry.
It's time to stop the hate and spread some love. You are beautiful, you're smart, you are awesome, and you never have to change for anybody. You have the voice and you have the power. We are so much stronger when we come together. It's your choice, so choose to be inspired. Choose to be accepting, be strong, be brave, be awesome, be daring, be kind. Choose kindness.
It's always a winning combination when you're thinking about the other person first. Reach out to me, Jim Freed. That's right. I do real estate transactions for all the families in town, all the real estate operating companies. If you need to get a hold of somebody, I can do it in one phone call. Usually I'd close the deal in one phone call. So reach out to me. Why? Because when you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
All right, the second half of the show is all about what made me who I am today. We're going to interview Tim Becker, the director of the Bergstrom Center for the University of Florida. For the Center of Real Estate Studies. He brought along one of his students. We're going to find out why UF is the top place to study, not because we say so, but because U.S. News and World Report says so, and why students go there. Tim, welcome to the show, and let's introduce our guest. Hey, Hope.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Here's Tim Becker over there. Tim's the director of the center. And Tim, why'd you bring Hope?
Because Hope's one of our fantastic students, and I think she'll do a great job explaining why we're number one and why she chose to come here.
I love it. You know, I went there from 78 to 82 undergrad, 82 to 84 with an MBA. And just when I was leaving, they developed the MSRE program, which really allows somebody to go to a deep dive. And those students, they get jobs all over the country. Tim, who ranked UF number one for real estate and why?
Yeah, so the firm that ranked master's programs is Ed Universal is the name of the institution that does that, and we were the number one ranked public MSRE program in the country. And I think, as you know, Jim, there's a lot of factors that go into that, and I think the start of that is the tremendous advisory board that we have, just a world-class group of people like you who give back to the students, who mentor the students, who help the students find fantastic jobs and really elevate their career starting out.
You know, I really enjoy working with the students. I have a thing that's on my YouTube site called How to Find Your Dream Job. Usually they call me and poke me and want to talk. I won't talk to them until they go through that because it helps set them up for success. When they go through it, everybody that I call knows they went through it and they're always open. Hope, have you talked to any of the board members yet, and how did they respond?
I have. I've spoken to quite a few, especially at the advisory board retreat, which happened a month or two ago. And they've been nothing but helpful. And I've really enjoyed meeting and talking to each of them.
Hope, what's the thing you're sitting in front of?
So I'm actually in the Bergstrom Center conference room right now. This is the Hall of Fame.
The UF Real Estate Hall of Fame?
The Bergstrom Center Hall of Fame.
Tim, I noticed one thing, and Hope is different than it looks to me like pretty much everybody else on that board.
That she is, and she's going to be that next one up on that board.
There you go. That's what I was fishing for, just for the record. Her and Sammy Coker, we should put them up there right now.
Absolutely.
This is a shout out to Sammy Coker, the hardest working man in real estate. I love that guy. So, Tim, so now the program's been ranked. What does the program teach and why?
Well, our focus, of course, is on master's students, and it's focused on primarily commercial real estate. So we teach our students how to think through real estate investment, real estate development, and valuation, and how to apply that when they get out into the working world. And I think one thing that sets our program apart from many others is that ours is very applied in nature. Every real estate class that we teach has an industry professional that comes in and helps the students understand how to take the book knowledge and apply that to what's going on in the real world.
Thank you. That is so tremendous and amazing, Tim. Hope, now you've got some wonderful professors there. I've known Dave Ling since he was a grad student, and I've known Wayne Archer since he had no gray hair. So Wayne is leaving. What do the students feel about Wayne's leaving and the transition? And how has Dave Ling been in interfacing with the students?
So I know from the student side, we are just very thankful that we have gotten to have Dr. Archer this year, just because he taught us so much. And I mean, we're just so thankful that we're the last class that gets to have him.
Let me tell you, is that he may bring a lot of wisdom, but the one thing that he really brings is kindness and love. And you see, that's why he's a great teacher. And by the way, that's why you've got great board members, Tim. Those
Absolutely.
board members, they bring kindness and love. I'm in contact with pretty much everybody on the board. I don't want to say every day, but certainly at least once a month with my little text thing that I do that I got you guys today. And it really is a wonderful thing. We're in a very competitive industry. We're in one that changes all the time. And I think having each of us as a resource is very important. But I'm going to tell you, Hope, and this is not a secret. The students drive us. The students help us expand our minds. The students help us think about the future. And I'll tell you this, Hope, you're going to be running some real estate operating company, or you'll be a real estate entrepreneur at a time when the world is going to be very different physically. And you need to be considering that today. What's one of the concerns that you and the students have?
So we don't have many concerns right now. We're all on the job hunt, and there are so many opportunities, especially with board members that are out there. And so right now we're just all very hopeful.
I think that is a tremendous answer, Tim. This woman gets an A+, and you got to stop writing her cards for her.
Yeah, no, Hope is fantastic, and of course, like most of our students, she's very modest.
Yeah, I know. So let's dive in a little bit, Hope. What's your favorite course up there, and why? And there's a follow-up.
Well, hold on a second. She better say my course coming up, because if she doesn't, I'm gonna kick her out.
What's your course?
Jim, I teach the real estate development courses.
I know, but I have to ask. I know, but the audience doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say somebody goes up, they get an MSRE, they take your development course. What do they learn?
Well, hopefully they learn what a developer is and the process by which development gets done. And by the end of my class, typically all the students who said they wanted to be developers changed their mind and they want to go into something else. But
yeah, the first scene should be sausage making.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh. You know, the one thing that I've really learned about real estate is it truly is collaborative and integrative. You know, you have your MBAs that go through there and they're specialists in all the different topics, you know, in managing all the different silos. Then you have the students that are MSREs and they're really a great silo. And then they got to work together because, you know, an MBA may end up working for a silo expert. And see, that's really the unique thing about your real estate program up there is you put the MSREs together with MBAs and they all learn to work together to build a company.
Yeah, I think, Jim, the other point of that is that even within our MSRE group, we have such a diverse background of students. We have folks from architecture, we have folks from construction management and interior design and the like. And so we really get a nice diverse group of students that can think through problems differently, think about what solutions there might be to the problems that we face today.
Well, you know, real estate is very, very collaborative in nature. No one knows everything other than me. And I couldn't resist. And so, you know, Hope, you know, you work on these projects with different folks. Tell me what it's like about learning the cross team leadership. And I have a saying, I like to surround myself with experts and then listen to them. That's because I don't know everything. So Hope, tell me a little bit about some of the teams you've worked on and some of the other students and how you've learned from each other, which I really think is what it's really all about. That's life.
Definitely. So one of our courses that we took last semester, it was real estate market transactions, actually with Dr. Archer. And that was probably one of my favorite classes that I've taken so far. And we had to work in groups all throughout the class. And we would drive out to different parts of Gainesville and see different shopping centers or hotels or anything of the like, and offices too. And so with each of us, we kind of, with our different backgrounds, we were able to bring something to the table and then teach our classmates, which was a really cool experience because I went to FSU for undergrad. I know. Please don't hold it against me.
That's okay. Listen, the reality in my world is I don't care where anybody went as long as they're a true fan and root for their, you know, and embrace who they are. I'm just giving you, you know, poking a little bit. I'm very glad that you're proud. Everybody needs to be proud.
Mr. Becker does it too. It's okay.
Absolutely.
So anyways, with our different backgrounds, like I majored in real estate and marketing undergrad, and one of my classmates majored in finance and entrepreneurship. And like he was saying, another one was architecture. So we each were able to work together to make the project work, as well as learn from each other throughout the process.
And by the way, you all represented the real type of team that needs to come together to collaborate to make it happen. You know, you got some lawyers in there too, Tim. Sorry, I just had to say it.
Of course we do.
Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about what Hope hopes to achieve from UF, and maybe a little bit, we'll do a little bit of how to find your dream job with Hope right after this. Mr. Mendoza, please rock the world. Hi, I'm Jim Frieden. I'm always taking notes. I'm using another one of my Gator things here. Go Gators. I can't stand it. I can't say it enough. I want to thank Hope. Stick with us because we're going to hear about where Hope wants to work. And I got to tell you, if you're in real estate, you probably want Hope on your team. And of course, Tim will tell us more about how UF got ranked and how you can help. Oh, I'm going to ask him that. How you can help UF get ranked even higher. But one of the people that I love being in touch with is Larry Zinn. You see, now Tim has given me the business about the Lamborghinis. Larry Zinn, forward-looking father, wonderful dude. I'm going to profile Larry next month. What is Larry? Larry is family. What happens when you buy a car at Warren Henry? You become part of the Warren Henry family. So when you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar. Tim, send me the logo. I'll see if I can get it on one of the Lamborghinis at the next show. Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, and Jaguar up at 151st and Biscayne here in South Florida. Up in Gainesville, they have a beautiful Audi store that I've been to. It's tremendous. Maybe the students can go up there and learn about single-tenant retail. And down in the Keys, they sell all their name plates. What do they all have in common? Well, they're all great cars, and they come with the Warren Henry Advantage. I've got the Warren Henry Advantage right here in my UF Center for Real Estate Studies portfolio. I am Mr. UF Center for Real Estate Studies today. And what is the Warren Henry Advantage? It is this list of great things. I never get the camera thing right. Complimentary service loan or dynamic wheel protection. If you kiss the curb, they'll buff it out for you. Key replacement. These keys cost like $100 to replace. Just a little automatic key. They'll give you a new one. The 72-hour exchange. You can take 3 days to find out if you like your car. You will. Join me, my friends. I got lots of UF friends that buy from them. Me, my friends, my beautiful wife, Vivian. My beautiful wife, Vivian, is a hurricane, but she still loves me. And my mom. My mom went to University of Illinois. Same colors, different mascot. But what do all these cars have in common? They're all great cars. They come with that Warren Henry Advantage. Like I said, join me, my mom, my beautiful wife, Vivian. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price. Always the best service. Always Warren Henry.
Hey, this is Becca Carlson from Carlson Integrated. You know, a lot of our clients find that they can do anything, but not really everything. We are always excited to jump in and help. So whether you need another set of hands for a project or even comprehensive marketing management, our team of marketing mavens would love to have a conversation with you to see if we are the right fit. We do everything from logo and design work to email outreach and social media to writing and thought leadership. And here's a fun one. We are now offering our fabulous ebook of top 10 marketing tips on our website for free. So head over to carlsonintegrated.com and grab a copy today. And please always let us know how we can help. My email is Becca, that's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com. That's BEKAH at carlsonintegrated.com.
I love working with Becca, and Regan Mendoza are Tim, you're hilarious. Tim's sending me direct messages. Tim Becker, Center Director. Where was I? Mr. Mendoza and Rebecca will be on the show with me next week. We'll be talking about marketing and what we give thanks for. I want to start off by saying I give thanks for Mr. Mendoza and for Rebecca. One of the real things I give thanks for, though, and this is not going to be about call freedom, to call Sandstone or anything. This is me talking to you. I really give thanks to the University of Florida. You know, I went there as a young kid and I came out as an older kid, but it gave me the information and backup that I needed to be successful. And it's my responsibility to hand that off to the next gen, people like Adam Vaisman at Butters Construction, at Butters Development, and to people like Hope, to encourage people like Sammy Coker to never give up. I take great pride, not just in being a Gator, but being a member of the Bergstrom Center for Real Estate Studies. Now, in the segment, we'll talk a little bit more about it, but I take great pride in leading America and leading the state of Florida and leading one individual at a time. So why do I mention that when I usually talk about everything about doing business with me? Because you just got it. It's me. I'm transparent. I am who I am. People pick up the phone when I call. Let's work together and make America a better place. Mr. Mendoza, people know that when they call me, it's always, always all about them.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
Well, we're back. We're back with Tim Becker and Hope. Hope is a student at the University of Florida Center for Real Estate Studies. Tim is the center director. We're talking about why the University of Florida for a real estate degree, and we're talking about why UF is ranked #1. Welcome back, Tim. Welcome back, Hope.
Thanks for having us back, Jim.
It's my pleasure. Before we get started, I want to amplify what one of the people that's watching and commented on LinkedIn said. They talked about Wayne Archer as a legend and his legacy is beyond measure. Let's talk about that for 1 second, because there's a lot of canned stuff that people say. I'm going to say it a different way. Wayne Archer trained a lot of the people that do real estate in this state and in this country. When they do it to make money, but what their end result is to make it a better place to live. Every single person that Professor Archer taught, and I'll give a high five to Ling when it's his turn, they helped us change the lives of people that they'll never meet for the better. And I'm not talking about the students. I'm talking about what the students did for everybody else. There is no higher honor on the planet. And so that's my thank you to Dr. Wayne Archer with my funny pandemic hair coming out there. All right. The other thing I want to talk about is how people can help UF. So, Tim, before we go back into it and do help Hope about how to find her dream job, how can people help UF and the real estate program stay on top and, even better, cut new ground?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways, Jim. They could start by just going to our website, realestate.ufl.edu, and signing up for our email list so that they can stay in touch with what we're doing and the events that we host. They can think about coming to the Trends and Strategies Conference March 3rd and 4th in Orlando at the Waldorf Astoria to learn more about our students, to learn more about our program, and to learn more about what's going on in the industry. And I think the biggest thing they can do is if they have jobs, if they have opportunities out there for students, please let us know, because we have the best and brightest in the state. And they will be the future of real estate, and they can certainly help any company that comes to us for looking for great talent.
Now that's a great segue. Hope, what part of where are you from?
So I grew up in the Tampa area, but I actually moved to Ocala, Florida when I was in high school. So now my family is all in Ocala.
Okay. And where do you think you'd like to practice your trade after you graduate?
So I'm open to anywhere in the Southeast, but my top cities would probably be Tampa, Orlando, Nashville, or Charlotte.
Okay. And what sector of the industry do you think you'd like to work in?
Right now I'm thinking brokerage or development.
Wow, those are pretty different areas. Takes two totally different people. Why brokerage?
So I've actually been exposed to brokerage since I was little. My dad's a hotel broker. So realized after
it's not always this hot in hotel brokerage.
No, it's not, but it's pretty good right now.
Yes, it is. Make it while it's happening. Well, I could certainly help you with that. I know some of the best hotel brokers on the planet. Development-wise, what do you think you'd like to do development-wise in those markets you're targeting, by the way?
So after Mr. Becker's class, I'm hoping to kind of narrow that down a little bit more. I interned with a developer in Tallahassee all 4 years. But
shout out who?
Will Butler.
Thank you.
He was one of the developers.
He deserves the credit. He's getting credit.
Yes.
So you want to be in development. One of the things that I could certainly help with beyond the direct development thing is there's all kinds of people that I could introduce you to that could talk to you about the challenges that young people face in the industry and how to overcome them. People that didn't even go to UF that may be developers of all kinds of ilk in all kinds of marketplaces. So again, tell her the Emmett Smith story. If you ask, you'll get. The Emmett Smith story is from the last Trends Conference, which was the last public event that I went to before we got locked down. And I love the venue we have. We have it at the Waldorf up in Gainesville. I'm going. I'll be there. A lot of my friends will be there. It's
Orlando.
a tremendous place to.
Orlando.
What did I say?
You said
Gainesville.
Gainesville. I wish we had a Waldorf in Gainesville, but we have.
I know who wants to build one. Hope.
Yeah, right.
Now all we need to do is find you an equity partner. We've got that.
There you go.
I'm sure your dad has all the debt and equity you need if you find the right deal, Hope. And let me give you a little advice. Go learn some stuff and then bring it on home. I'm here advocating for Dad 100% for the record. So now we've only got a couple of minutes left. Tim, what does the future hold for this center? I know we have 150 people on the board. I know that's expanded. I know we have a lot of people that want to stay involved. We have the Bergstrom Council for that. How are people able to get involved with the center and with the students? Because I think a lot of people want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people want to connect with the students. And again, the easiest way is just to go to realestate.ufl.edu and sign up for our email list so that you can find out what events we're hosting. If you have job opportunities, feel free to email me. My contact information is on the website. And, we have some exciting things going on. One of the reasons we were number one, Jim, as you well know, is the fact that we've had 2 faculty members who have been here for so long. And I think it's important for your listeners to understand that Wayne Archer has been here for 51 years. And that's just a rare feat in any industry. But certainly to have 2 faculty members who have been here for 51 years.
How long has Dave been there? He's been there for like 40.
Almost 40 years, correct.
God, am I getting old? I remember going and seeing him and, sitting outside of Hal Smith's office, and I'd be in there for my appraisal work. And there was Ling, and we'd sit there and I'd go to the soda machine on the hypotenuse. Oh my God, I need a life.
Well, so for us, it's an exciting time. It's a challenging time, and the fact that we have to replace, one legend and another legend here in the not too distant future, and keep the quality of education where it needs to be the number one program. But I think that's no problem, given that we're a top 5 university in a fantastic state, and we have tremendous resources here through the Bergstrom Center. So I think there's a lot of things that will attract great people.
You said resources. I want to give a high five to John Cannon. You can continue now. Oh, and I want to thank Kelley Bergstrom, who gave me my first internship and all of this tremendous opportunity. Thank you, Kelley Bergstrom.
Well, one last shout out to Kelley Bergstrom, because not only did he help start this amazing ride that we've been on here for the past 14 years, but he's also helped start the applied research program here that we've launched last year. And we have our first magazine, Due Diligence. They came out in September, and we have copies here. So if you want a copy of it, please let me know. I'm happy to send it to you. That's going to come out 3 times a year. And Bill Hughes, our applied research director, is doing a fantastic job leading that effort. And hopefully we can get him on your show, Jim, in the new year.
Bill will be on in January or December. You tell me when Bill's ready, and we'll get Bill on, even if we have to do a special event for him.
Absolutely. So our goal is not only to provide the best talent to the industry, but the best information to the industry.
There you go. And I'm proud. I filled out my survey yesterday, Tim.
Fantastic. Bill, thanks you.
Thank you. Now, the last thing I want to do is, how do people get more information about the students? Where would they find Hope's resume and stuff? And then about the center?
realestate.ufl.edu. And of course, you can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. Hope's TikTok.
Tag me and I'll talk back. I want to thank Tim Becker and Hope Stevens from the University of Florida Center for Real Estate Studies. I want to thank the Miami Book Fair, Lisa Paley, and of course, Ben, for being on the show. There he is. Oh, Ben, you're still there. High five, Ben. I can't wait. Ben's going to send me some great stuff that's going to ingratiate me to my mother-in-law. Everybody wants that. And of course, I want to thank you, our listener. Without you, it wouldn't be possible. Remember, we'll be on next Wednesday live. You can always get us on all the different social platforms all the time. Remember, the person who wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. Now go out there and make it happen. Hope That message is for you and your team.
Thank you.